Raider Nation. My goodness. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I mean, what a game on Monday Night Football. If you're gonna come into a new city, that's the way you do it, right? You kick in the door. You don't mess around. Messing around with all this other corny stuff. The Raiders come in and absolutely destroy. And the score wasn't really indicative of how the Raiders dominated this football game. They really, took it to them after that first quarter. Dwayne Douglas here on the Cover 3D Raider podcast with Sean Oahu Raider and Monster Mash Ken. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Victory! Victory! Victory Tuesday tastes just as good as Victory Monday. I'll tell you what, man. I'm feeling it, baby.
That's crazy.
I got a present. I got a present for you guys. I got a present for you guys real quick, though.
Oh,
Let's go!
I'm feeling it, baby. I'm juiced, man.
Let's go.
Feeling
For
it.
those of you who are listening cannot see, Raider Roo just did the little
Monster
locker
Mash
room,
Ken, not Raider Roo.
yeah.
We were talking about Roo
Yeah, we were
earlier.
just talking about Roo. Shout out to Roo. But Monster Mash Ken just hit that good old football chant that Gruden did in the locker room with the team. That's going viral right now.
I'm feeling good, though, man. I'm
I'm
excited.
happy
to get into
2-0.
this.
I mean, when it's just a good feeling, national spotlight game when you show up and with the relocation, everything on deck.
Yeah.
Big surge of excitement. It's hard to sleep last night. I woke up early this morning.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun to watch. Fun to watch.
You guys are lucky. I had to stay up till almost midnight watching you.
Those games do not. I do not envy you. I remember as a San Francisco Giants fan, I used to stay up late for those playoff games, boy, on the East Coast. But let's just jump into it. The Raiders I can get. I don't know about you guys. I can get used to this whole scoring 30, 40 points a game thing that the Raiders seem to they have in these first two ball games. As far as that goes, we talked about Derek having to elevate the team and elevate, the players on the squad and being that leader that everybody wants him to be. I think I'll start with you, Ken. I think he definitely did that in his first game.
Yeah, I'm glad you came to me first because I got to say some shit about this, man. I get it. Derek is very frustrating when he plays the last couple years here and this and that. And we got to see him in 1 year play like awesome. And, he still didn't play a perfect game. But you go back and you look at all the quarterbacks here who plays a perfect game. And I think that the Raider Nation is so demanding of excellence, commitment to excellence, and they're looking for that in their quarterback. They want Derek to run. They want Derek to throw the long bomb. They don't want Derek to throw it down to the ground. They don't want him to check it down. They don't want him to do this. They don't want him to do that. You know what? Take that football, get some baby lotion, baby oil, grease it up real nice, and shove it straight up your ass. Because Derek Carr, right now through these last two games, is playing at the MVP level that we need him to be playing. Now, he might miss a couple long bombs here or passes or whatever. Somebody might be wide open. But every single play that they're calling that between Gruden and Carr, I think it has purpose. And you look at the third down efficiency and the turnovers is awesome. It is at the top of the league, especially yesterday. That defense is no joke. Carolina's defense, no joke. They came in, and you look at the first couple drives there, I was like, oh, man, this is going to get away from us. It takes a real leader and a real coach to ignore that and to get it back into shape. Like, you know what? The long ball's not working for us. You can't stretch the field. Let's go back to what works. Throw those quick darts. And it worked. You got Waller involved. And out of all games where we needed them to show up, everybody was saying that we needed that was a must-win last week. This game was a must-win. This is in our house. This is our new house. This is on the national spotlight. Everybody's watching this game. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. So many people traveled from afar, not to get into the stadium, but just to support our boys in the silver and black out there in the streets and the casinos. People on the East Coast staying up till midnight to watch these guys play a quality team. A team that is possibly going to go into the Super Bowl. This might be Drew Brees' last year. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks, not just right now, of all time. And you know what? They went out there and they took care of business. And I love it. I love every second of it. I want to watch that game over and over again until we beat the Patriots' asses next week. And that's the bottom line because Monster Mash said so.
I have to save a lot of what I want to break down as we develop through the show about how the game unfolded, structurally, how Gruden and Carr managed things. But to speak to what you said, Dwayne, as far as leadership, um, Carr is different this year. He's kind of seemed like he needed to be kicked around a little bit. We went through a couple rocky years of shifting, culture change, and rebuilding the squad. Um, the things he's talked about, seeing Tom Brady on the cover of, every media page while he's living in Las Vegas. His kind of cold shoulder reactions to Josh Dubois and kind of some of these other media people trying to pickle and peck on. It's shown differently. And I think what I saw leadership wise, again, I'll get to it later, how the game plan wasn't working initially, like you were speaking, Ken. But just back to that clutch gene that he showed in 2016, with the comeback victories, just like pressure up against him and able to make those accurate throws that he's good at in the intermediate passing game. He shined. We needed him to shine. The team was flat for a while there, and he just exhibited everything we wanted to. And probably my favorite thing from Carr was post game. They were interviewing him, and he was stoic. He really looks to, and I've teased him for always saying Mamba mentality, because I think they're impossible to compare. But just seeing his persona, when he already said this is a good win, high fives go around, but he said Bill Belichick has a day up on me, I need to get to studying. And when he said that, to me, really showed, number one, he understands that we're 2-0. That doesn't mean anything right now. It's the eighth of the season is complete, right? We're not even at the quarter point. Number two, he's ready. He understands how important and vital it is for him to prepare to be able to operate the offense the way he did. He can't make a lot of mistakes the way this defense is playing, and he hasn't made them. And 34 points back-to-back games. And both of those games could have gone the wrong way at each time. So super happy to see that, Dwayne. Like, I think the way Carr is just asserting himself, it's not like we didn't know it. It's not like a mystery. It's just you also have to match it with the results, and that's what we're getting. And I couldn't be happier as a fan.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Sean. Way to bring it home. Way to bring me back down, man.
As far as the post game goes, Kobe had that famous post game where they were up 2-0, and he said, "Hey, why aren't you smiling?" The reporter said, and he said, "Is the job done?" Job's not done. So it's as simple as that. So I mean, I know that's an athlete that he has really idolized over the years. For me myself as well, being a Laker fan. But like, yeah, I totally understand that whole concept, and he's really taken to that. I mean, this guy is, he has to be. Listen, it's not going to look perfect all the time. No matter how much prep you have in that first quarter, we were, but at least the defense, as poorly as the defense is played, and how much crap they get. 8 minutes to go, the mighty Saints are in our building and they have 17 points. Like, I mean, if this defense is going to play, forget about stats now. I'm looking at this defensive unit as 17 to 24 points a game. If they are in that realm, this offense, John Gruden, and these play callers and this play calling, and between him and Olsen and the run plays that Tom Cable's dialing up, they're going to have an opportunity to win a game, and that's really all you can ask for. I mean, there are games where we used to watch that you knew they had no chance. There is not a team in the league. I mean, maybe you want to say. I mean, I think the highest measuring stick will be when we play the Chiefs. No question about it. But right now, outside of the Chiefs and Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, there's some teams who they are going to be able to beat and stay with. I like the fact that they have put themselves in a position to sweep the NFC South. They already ran through two teams. Bad division. Who knows where Atlanta will be? But again, they had one of the worst losses you could ever have in history of the NFL. Period. So Gruden's doing a good job. Carr is doing a good job. He talked about third year in the system, and to me, it looks like it's paying off big time for them. I don't know if there is an assistant coach of the year award, but Tom Cable, man. I mean, goddamn. Like
Yeah,
seriously,
I got to
like
raise my hand. I was wrong about him.
I,
I was wrong.
I think Raider Nation was all wrong about him and all wrong about him coming back. I mean, he's just been phenomenal, and people and they showed that graphic about how much money the Raiders have invested in an offensive line, Sean.
Mhm.
And even though those guys, some guys get hurt, and some guys we don't know if they're what's going on, but
Yeah.
but 77. But let's be real. I mean, Simpson comes in, Denzel Good, who's not really a right tackle, comes in and plays well. Can you talk about Tom Cable and what he's done with this offensive line? Because they have done just a fantastic job of protecting Carr and keeping keeping everything clean for these running backs.
Right. It goes hand in hand. Like, we understand Carr does not do well with pressure. Most any quarterback, but Carr's not going to take off and run, right? So we understand Carr needs to be upright to make those quick passes, to make the read the defense. And when you plug and play, yeah, they showed that stat of how much our offensive line was paid, but that didn't really show the true story of who was playing that night. You know, they've invested, but you're only as good as your depth is sometimes, and that's paying off. And then you got to credit the players. You got to credit a rookie like John Simpson coming in there. He's probably not thinking he might be in some jumbo packages. I might not play my rookie year. I got a Pro Bowler in front of me. And then he comes in and just seamlessly fills in. Like you talked about, Good all off season. I thought maybe if they dealt Gabe Jackson, Good would be the starting right guard. Guess what? He probably didn't even know he was going to play right tackle this season. And I'm not going to say dominant, but I mean, how much can you pick apart what they're able to do? They're still able to run the ball. And, you know, I think Witten is probably coached heavily by Cable as well, and those tight ends, because that tight end group, we have a lot of tight ends on the field. It's a Gruden offense. So what they're able to do as a unit is very important. It was a tough game to get Josh Jacobs going. We kind of knew that coming in. The Saints are a good defense. They really, really are. They can cover on the back end. They can blitz, but they can also not send anybody and still get pressure. So Cable, through 2 games, couldn't be happier. I just feel like he's proved the doubters wrong. Like, sometimes you have to be just as vocal about, you know, admitting you're wrong as you are about, you know, up front not thinking something's going to work out. And I think that's bringing fruition for not just Cable, but for Gruden, for Carr, for a lot of the things that they invested in this rebuild. But I thought I think Cable is doing a great job. And he'll have another test because Bill Belichick coming up. He's going to find ways to expose whatever he wants and take away your better players. The O-line, another challenge for Cable ahead.
No, I agree. I think, incognito goes down. Trent Brown sitting on the sideline there eating snack packs.
Chilling.
And you're getting massages and shit. You know, you're earning almost $20 million or whatever the number is. I forget, but maybe it's over 20. But you're looking at that, and I know Incognito was like, they probably had to drag him off the field. They literally probably had to drag him off the field. And here's Trent Brown. I don't know how serious this injury is. I don't know what's going on, but I just don't buy it. I really don't. I feel like he's got that same Antonio Brown mentality, and I'm just not convinced. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope that people can call me out and say, you're wrong. Trent Brown's now a Pro Bowler. I hope for the Raiders. But what I'm seeing is he's going to be let go, or he's going to be traded or something. And I hope we get the value back in return. But that being said, John Simpson, I liked him coming out of Clemson. I think Dwayne and I picked him to, be one of that draft pick.
Yes.
We watched him. He's a road grader. He's the future. Unfortunately, Incognito is not the future, and he's the next man up. Denzel Good, God bless that man. 2 good weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And then you look at the left tackle Miller there, who also, she's playing some great Pro Bowl football right now. And the Saints they have multiple looks. Dennis Allen, he did his stint with the Raiders. He throws up his natural position was defensive coach. He should have just stayed there, and not be a head coach because he's successful. And he's got a really good defense. But the Raiders, John Gruden, they came prepared, man, and they took it to him. They utilized what weapons they had. They tried to get Ruggs going. It just wasn't working. And they, you know what? That only works if the O-line is able to hold Carr up. And it looked scary in the beginning, because I don't know what was going on with the 3 sacks right away. It was scary. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen there? But you know what? After they got those kinks out, smooth sailing. I loved it. Dwayne, what do you think?
Well, to me, it was obviously we talked about Carr, talked about Cable, and I just think Gruden was masterful in the play calling. I mean, that's why he is getting paid those big dollars to be a exceptional play caller. And running it when you think they're going to pass, like staying with the run even though they're stuffing. That is the hardest thing as a play caller when you're home watching it. You have a 2nd and 10 because the 1st and 10 didn't work. And you want them to pass the ball on 2nd and 10 so bad. But he stuck with the run on numerous occasions, and it led to them switching their defense to a lighter front, a more pass friendly, a pass attack defense, where he just said, Derek is just checking out of that and saying, I'm going to give the ball to the running back, pick up 7 yards, and it's 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 11. And those things. I mean, some of the play calls there were just phenomenal. Even the one, listen, I love Richard. And he made one mistake. He fumbled the football on that sweep play. It reminded me of the fumble that Latavius Murray had in Chicago when we lost to Jay Cutler, where where nobody was nobody was. It was the same kind of sweep play where nobody's within 15 yards of Latavius Murray, but he still fumbled that. And it was the same thing here. The play was perfect. He had the whole stampede of people in front of him, and he fumbled. But I mean, he was able to come back and make a play later. But the play call was on point. Like, I mean, everything was on point. He got Waller involved in 20 million ways in this game. Good to see Zay Jones' hard work pay off. This is a guy who loves playing for the Raiders, loves playing with Derek, and putting a lot of work from Jump Street from last year to this year. And now he's a great blocker as well. But he finally got a touchdown. Good for him. I mean, and Waller is it's a redemption. It's a redemption of his life right here. We're watching it in full effect, and you can't do anything but love what you see from 83. You gotta love it.
Oh, yeah. No, and you can't forget number 89 there. He made some plays. Ruggs which wasn't clicking. I don't know what was going on there, but Edwards showed up when they needed him. He can catch, man. I can't wait till week 5 when everything is just going to start clicking and Carr's going to get comfortable. He's going to know where everybody's at. The timing's going to be there. We didn't have the preseason, which is not an excuse because these guys are in it now. And that's it. And you got to earn your keep there. But you mentioned Aguilar. Aguilar had that sweet juke, man. That guy he's going to be a player. Renfro just doing what he does best, man. Moving the chains. But it's awesome that we have so many weapons. Jacobs wants to be he only had 3 catches this game, but that's all right. That's all right because he's still moving the chains. Yeah. But if you go back and you look at this game, and I'm sure we'll get to this later, but I'm going to kind of jump ahead here. But my favorite play of the game goes hand in hand with the worst play of the game was the fumble with Jalen Richard. Jalen Richard, he fumbles that ball. The momentum swings back to the Saints. And then you get back to that position where you're close to the end zone, and you do that same play. And everybody, even my chats, my Raider chats and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh, Richard needs to be cut, whatever, blah blah blah." And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything at all. I'm just going to be quiet the whole thing. And I love that Gruden called his number again, because that just shows that Gruden has faith in his players. And you go back to just talking about Carr and all, Sean, you mentioned like Tom Brady, those rumors that happened, he was on the cover of the Las Vegas thing and stuff like that. If Gruden didn't want these players on his team, they're not going to be on the team. And that's it. And he doesn't have a lot of patience. Got rid of Khalil Mack, got rid of Amari Cooper, Brent
Gary Conley too, first round pick. Got rid of him.
And that's what it's all about. But it shows, like, you know what, Richard? You're going to go back. We're going to go right back to you. Same fucking play. And they ran it. And what happened? Richard knew he screwed up, so he scored a touchdown. And that was my favorite play and I hated that play at the same time prior to it. So good stuff there.
Yeah, I think when I look at it as a whole, you guys both kind of touched on it, but as we peel back this offense, you had Ingold score a touchdown, and you had Jalen Richard score a touchdown. It wasn't Josh Jacobs who had 3 touchdowns last week. So when you don't have a stick with the hot hand, if you will, you can move it around. Like Ruggs was, let's be honest, he didn't show up. He wasn't a part. The game plan should change, and you should take advantage of what you can. And that's why in this game, the biggest credit I give to, I know you guys will give out game balls. I'm going to give my game ball right now because it only makes sense when I talk about. My game ball goes to John Gruden. I understand Carr has to deliver. I understand the players have to get the work done. But John is notoriously stubborn at times. And just seeing the beginning, the first quarter of that game, Carr going these deep 5, 6, 7-step drops, sending everyone 4 wide down the field, 20, 25 yards down the field. There's 20 yards of grass in front of Carr. He's not the type that's going to tuck it and run and slide and get you 8. And then you go, okay, well, now it's 30. Taking those back-to-back sacks, I was like, this is the wrong game. The Saints have such good coverage on the back end. You can't play that game. And to see Gruden go back, we were down. To go back to the methodical bread and butter of how his hybrid West Coast offense works, and to see Carr start lighting it up, start just throwing darts everywhere. High accuracy's back. He's reading the defense well. He's finding the open man. Yes, some of those drives take 6 to 8 minutes, but when you're down in a game and being able to commit to what you're good at rather than let the impact of the game dictate what you do, great. I loved it, and that's why I was so worried. But to see Gruden go back to that, the game changes. And like you said, Renfro gets a little run here. Aguilar shows up with a big play. Jalen Richard, you go back to him on a cracked toss, and he jukes the hell out of someone down the sideline, gets in the end zone. Guess what? Everyone has to watch our film. Defensive coordinators have to watch our film. It's not the Josh Jacobs show like it is in Carolina, or you know what I'm saying. Like he's not. It's the hey, you want to leave Ingold uncovered? He can hurt you. You don't know who Zay Jones is? Well, guess what? He'll hurt you. You don't know who. It's just you can strike from anywhere, and that's what's going to make this offense pay off. And allowing Carr to play to his strengths, okay, methodical drives, and it just paid off. And you saw the game change drastically. And I think it's good that Gruden just accepted the reality of what this team is good at, what this offense is good at, and get back to it and let it pay dividends over a quarter or two, rather than trying to do what they're doing early. It's a shame. To my count, I think Ruggs could have 4 touchdowns by now. He's been open, or sometimes either he's overthrown or he wasn't thrown to, but those will come. But guess what? That game plan is not the Saints. That game plan is another team that's going to bite closer to the line of scrimmage and not be as disciplined on the back end. And those plays will happen. They'll come. I'm confident they were. I was frustrated last night because I saw a couple where I was like, that's 6. But in the scheme of things, 34 points back-to-back games, I can't expect to score 50 every night, right? So, at some point, just play to Carr's strength. So to me, game ball, no doubt about it, goes to John Gruden. Biggest win of his return to Oakland or Las Vegas. Glad to see it.
I think for me, it's more. It's one of those things where I think. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I think for me, it's more. Gruden was phenomenal. No question. No question about it. There's no if or ands or buts. He knew the opponent, and he knew that once you started taking it to the Saints, they're undisciplined. You're going to see penalties. You're going to see whining on the sidelines. You're going to see a uncharacteristic red flag come out of Sean Payton's pocket in that moment there. The Janoris Jenkins is gonna overreact to he can't really overreact because I think Ruggs might have caught that last ball if he has a clear shot at it. So he's scared. The Ruggs thing, I'm not frustrated with at all. I think a couple of those end arounds, I think they could have given it to him on a couple of those end arounds.
I thought so too.
because I didn't see, I looked as soon as the end around's coming, I look at where the defensive end is, and he's crashing inside. I'm like, give it to number 11 on a couple of those. But listen. Those will come. I think they've only played 2 games together. I got to keep reminding people that they only played 2 games together. Like it's gonna come, no question about it. I'm more excited about the whole this game coming up with the Patriots, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll save it for that moment. We'll give Gunther some love right now because I didn't. Besides the garbage touchdown after they went up 2 scores, I thought they played all right. Listen, it's all about the points. I'm not gonna. They're not the '85 Bears. I don't know what's going on with this pass rush. I think that if I'm not. I know you amped up Malik Collins left and Malik all you want, but left and right. That's all I heard about was Reggie White and him in the same sentence. But if Mo Hurst is giving you that pass rush, and he's the one who forced that interception, if he's giving you that pass rush, he got to play. He just has to play, and you got to keep that going. So as far as this defense goes, I mean, I know it's not going to be great. They have some injuries there. We almost lost Abram, who has been phenomenal in his first 2 games. Ken, what are your thoughts about how they played? I thought after the first quarter they played pretty good.
You know what? You're setting me up just with that shirt you're wearing. I feel like Hunter Renfrow right now about to get that third down catch because you're setting me up nice, man. I like the play call because I'm going to go right into that. One point I wanted to make, and you're kind of alluding to it, is everybody, and I give Gunther a hard time, but we have to remember a couple of things here. You look at all the first-year players, and Abram included. You got 2 rookies. You got a new defensive line other than Furl and Crosby, who are second-year players. You got all new linebackers. You got all new people in the secondary. Everything is brand new. These kids they're kids, most of them. They're kids. They're learning to play with each other. Arnett was making some plays. He led the team in tackles. I think he had like 8 or 9, and then Abram had like 7. My heart dropped when Abram was dead on the sideline and just decided to miraculously come back to life and bust some more heads. My game ball is going to go out to him because we don't win this game if the defense doesn't do some stops here. The Saints came charging back. They came marching on, and Abram kind of gives that energy. He just exudes energy, and I love that type of player. He's going to be a superstar, that kid, man. He's just got written all over him. And he's wearing that number 24, and you know what? He's representing pretty well. So big up to Abram. I love what you say about Mo Hurst. I totally agree with that. I think, you look at last week, he's the one that got in there, got that sack. He made a play there, and then he makes a play this week, and he's able to help with that interception there. As far as getting home to the quarterback, I don't know what's going on. I know, Furl, Key, Crosby, these people that are getting in the backfield there, they need to get home. And I don't know whose fault that is, but it's just not happening. And it makes me sick to my stomach to know that we had a chance to get Yannick Ngakoue or Clowney, who now it looks like we might have needed their help, regardless of the rotation. Because 2 games into it and you're coming away with 1 sack, I don't know about that. And as far as the cornerback play, everybody's saying Michael Thomas isn't playing. It doesn't matter. It's Drew Brees back there. He's going to find a way to win. But they shut it out. They did a good job. Cook is a really good tight end, and they shut out Cook for the most part. But Kamara had a really good game. But don't let those stats fool you because a lot of those yardage came in that fourth quarter dump. The trash plays or whatever. So I thought the defense held well. They brought it together. So, you know what? As painful as it's for me to say this, Gunther pulled it together, and he got these guys in line. So I dig it. Yeah, I'm all about it. Hopefully they can figure a way to stop Cam Newton, and it's going to be an interesting game next week.
Yeah, I can't say the same about the defense. We're 31st and pass. We're dead last in sacks and pressures, so I can't buy into that. That makes no sense. Cleveland Frelly, number 4 overall pick, is a ghost on the field. Max Crosby, who had a huge year last year, his name hasn't even been called, man. I mean, he had 5 sacks in 1 game last year against the Bengals, who had.
He did have that tip. He did have the tip pass, though.
Pass. I'm just saying, we're not getting home. Whatever it is, I'm not gonna. I know. To me, Hurst deserves a lot more snaps. Maybe they don't think he can manage it, but Katowski was out. That was big. No one's talking about that. And that might have been a good game for him, going sideline to sideline to help with Kamara. But overall, the defense is extremely concerning. We're literally 27th to 32nd in every major category. I know, Dwayne, you said points. Points is good. The Saints hurt themselves a lot, though. We also talked about their flags. They were in position to take over at times. So I want to ride the optimism on the defense. defense, but I want to see something first. I literally,
I'm-
the only star player, potential star player, is Abram or Littleton. Everyone else is there's nothing to talk about. I mean, Collins was this big, where's his name being called? I mean, like it's scary. And then you're talking about if one guy injuries are going to happen, right? More injuries are going to happen. Who do we have? Like, it's just not looking good. Joyner's still really not paying off. Eric Harris, we're going to go with this guy. He has the best character, and he knows that he had one good hit where he caused a drop pass, but he's not tackling as well this year. He looks like I think we're gonna have to reinvent this defense before the trade deadline. Raekwon McMillan, we traded for him. Where is his role? I think what we need to do potentially, if the question is with Gunther, and that's fine. If in-house, I think Gunther's a guy. That's one thing. To me, we need something in the pass rush. If we can deal Trent Brown in exchange, a swap for a defensive pass rusher, maybe a team like the Eagles is what I was thinking, because they need offensive line help. And they have some good pass rushers. Maybe by the trade deadline, you have a star pass rusher that's upset because he's on a team that's 1-6 or whatever, so he wants to get out. So we have to open it up there. I get how strong the offense is. We basically just need an opportunistic defense. Well, we need to force more turnovers to do then. So I'm not as excited as I am. I think Mullen's really good. Arnett did have some tackles, but he also was on the sideline for portions of that game. I know he's a rookie. He's got to weed it out, but he was seen as a liability a little bit there too. So
I gotta challenge you though, man. Like you got to remember, these are first-year players and young players, and they're trying to learn this system. Like, I don't understand why everybody wants to demand, like as Dwayne said, the Chicago Bears from the great days of defenses. Like, it's not going to happen. And
no, of course not.
I would say the two guys that I would question that bother me about this whole situation would be Naismith and Collins.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
I would throw
Nobody's.
Farrell in there too, and I was wearing my
Yeah.
Farrell jersey because I wanted to represent. I was wearing my Farrell jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we have to remember that though, because great point, Dwayne. Collins is no rookie. Carl Nassib is also not a rookie. They're not doing nothing for me. But you know what? Maybe that goes back to Gunther and the play calling as well, because I'm not feeling that the quarterbacks are not until later in the middle of the game here, where Drew Brees was kind of feeling a little pressure, but not enough. And Cam Newton, if he feels pressure, he's going to take off and run. So I'm a little concerned about it. And if the offense isn't performing, if they don't perform like they did the last two games, then we're in trouble here, because the defense is not going to win you a game until everybody's on the same page here. And I'm not seeing it, but I'm going to give them an out, because I understand that this is a really, really young defense. There's no leaders on this defense, as far as I can see.
I just think, and listen, I'm not sugarcoating poor defensive play. I'm definitely not gonna sugarcoat it. You are what the numbers say you are. But I mean, we can go through a lot of analytical numbers. But I mean, like I said, I mean, they're going to have. I mean, if they are going to be competitive, they have to hold people between 17 and 24. If they can continue to do that, as they win, hopefully this defense, after playing together in week 9, week 10, week 11, I think they could get better. And if you're winning and getting better, that's where I think they can really do something here. But as far as the whole shootout thing every week, I am not a fan of trying to do that. And I think Gruden is even help the defense a lot as well with these long drives. I mean,
Yes.
he's not even sometimes it's kind of good that maybe the Ruggs play is not going good right now, because if they had to come back on the field after a quick score, it's like it's like boom, back on the field again. The other team might still be cooking, so they need to listen. I know what Gunther's not going to change. He's gonna keep doing what he's doing until he's fired. Like, I mean, it's just the way, it's just until he's not here anymore. I mean, he's not gonna become a more aggressive play caller. There were some times where I saw him bring a safety, so I saw him bring some people home.
Yes.
A couple of times, Abram got close. Maybe you bring Abram on some blitzes and you put Joyner back. I mean, Joyner on film people are not running away from him. And he's not leaving people wide open like he was last year. So his
Right.
play overall has been his coverage skills has been better in the slot. But I mean, defensively, yeah. I mean, it's an issue. I'm definitely not ignoring it. I just feel like if you can win, hopefully that defense can get better. Then that has to happen. But some of these guys, hopefully it comes in spurts where they just get a bunch of sacks, they get a bunch of pressures, but it has to start happening at some point soon because I mean it's going to catch up with you. You cannot function as a defense and get no pass rush.
Do you guys think it's harder to be a defensive player or an offensive player?
It depends. I think each thing depends on technique and where you are or what you're doing.
I
That's why,
would
like,
say
I don't.
offense, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's easier to be an offensive. I would think it's easier to be an offensive player depending on where you're at, and you got to know your assignments. But I think the defense, there's only so much you can do before you don't want to get a penalty. You don't want to be too handsy. You don't want to hit the quarterback late. You got to make sure you're not holding. This is all these different things, and if you think about it, there's at least four guys going out wide to receive the ball. Running back, you're going to go and you're going to try to hit the hole. Quarterback is the hardest position of probably one of any sport that you're ever going to play. So that's on its own world there. So I think defense is really hard to learn, and I'm not obviously trying to give a complete out here because I agree with Dwayne. If you look at last year, our defense sucked for so many weeks, and then you started seeing, okay, this is coming together, but then we don't have that same defense. There's new players there. So they got to get it together. Unfortunately, the next 4 weeks here, 4 weeks up until after we play the Bucks, these are hard games, and it's going to really put these young guys to the test. I do agree with you, Sean. I think we need to see more out of Ferrell. We need to see more out of Collins, and we need to see the Crosby of last year. And Arnett's going to get there. I'm not worried about him.
Listen,
at all.
At least I can say this. At least he's not. At least Arnett's not getting burned like his like a Kuda. I mean, Kuda's getting. He's getting torched right now, and he's supposed to be the number one corner.
Wow.
I mean, they had to take him off the field because he was getting destroyed. So at least he's functional, and we do have Nevin Lawson, who's not great, but a veteran who can come in and hold that fort down. But I still want to hold Gunther to the fire here. I just want to at some point. That now lack of pass rush. I mean, this whole sport is pass rush now. Defensive football now is pass rush. It has nothing to do with anything. If the Chiefs play the Chargers again and they don't get a pass rush, they're going to give up 40. They only give up 23 points because they had a pass rush in that game.
Yeah, I think to me, like, I get the players are young, but what can you learn as a pass rusher? You either have it or you don't. You beat the person in front of you, and that's not happening. So I have very little optimism there. I mean, and I'm not even going to throw it entirely on Gunther. I'm not even going to use his name. I'm just going to say we don't have the right talent at defensive line. I think that's the more sensible way to look at it. I mean, what is Gunther going to employ? I mean, if these other guys are not getting pressures, it just doesn't speak well to this team. And it's the thing that bothers me about it is, like, last year was, well, what do you want Carr to do? He can't play defense. We don't have a defense. And now it's, well, let's give the defense time. I don't think it works like that. The defense just needs to get better, guys. Like, we're talking about our next two games. You want to know the type of quarterbacks we're going to have to tackle? Cam Newton and Josh Allen. They're huge, and they're fast, and they'll run. And we have trouble tackling depth wide receivers on the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater took off a few times, and that impacted the game a little bit there. And they were 4th and inches away from potentially beating us on the road. So I think it's like, I'm with you. I think it can get better. I just want to see, like, we need impact a star. And like you said, kind of both of you talked about Abram. He was the only guy that hit Drew Brees the whole damn game. And he shoved him to the ground after a pass. And I was excited. I was like, that is what
He and Hurst only two.
And Hurst. But the problem is like, we need a little bit more of that each week. We need to see whether it's a combination of sending people and playing good man coverage on the back end, so you can afford to send Littleton, you can afford to send Abram, both, whatever. But like you said, Dwayne, we can't be in this like scoring frenzy every every week to win, because Carr's going to have tough games too, right? There's going to be games where just those simple passes, you might miss a few. There might be a tip for an interception. There might be things that happen where he right now, he cannot afford to have that. I mean, he cannot play the Patriots and have a bad game, because
I think
did
that
you see Cam and Julian Edelman against the Seahawks? They're not a great defense either, but I'm just saying, like, we can't take this lightly, because then pretty soon the needle's going to move and everyone's just going to be
Well, I think it's going to happen
upset.
next week. You're going to see what Carr's made of. The flip. It's going to flip flop, because you're going to go up against probably two of the best defenses we're going to play all year in the Patriots and in the Bills back to back.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all I want to make a point there.
I'm not on board with the Patriots as far as like the defensive unit. I mean, I think the guy with the long hair, I forgot his
Gilmore.
name. No, not Gilmore, but the blonde hair, almost like Clay Matthews, coming off the edge
from Michigan.
That he looks like a really good player, a good pass rusher, hybrid kind of player like the Patriots.
Winovich.
I think DK Metcalf showed that DK Metcalf is really.
I wanted DK.
If you're beating Gilmore, and getting up against El Gilmore, I give you credit. I would say, they're gonna struggle as far as like stopping the Raiders. I just really feel that way. I'm not on board with like, okay, boom, they're a great defense. I just feel like they give up so much to Seattle. I mean, if they calm Seattle down just a little bit, I'd have a little bit more. I know I love Russell. I would take Russell on my team in 2 days and twice on Sunday, but I just don't. I mean, that's a lot of points and a lot of big plays over 20 yards to give up to a team for me to say, boom, it's a great defense.
Russell Westbrook is the MVP of the league right now, in my opinion.
Wilson.
But sorry, Russell Wilson. I've had like 4 beers already. Yeah. But hey, I got Winovich, and I hadn't even seen him play yet. But Dwayne, I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you this, Dwayne and Sean. Do you think the Saints are a better defense than New England? Who's the better defense?
I think they have the better talent. I think Bill Belichick is just a mastermind, because he has these weird players that always execute. And like we said, like, Bill will take away your best player. We had 16 targets to Darren Waller for 12 completions.
I'm thinking that
if you
take
think
it
Bill
away.
is going to let it, and then the other people will eat, like what we've talked about.
That's what I think
Gruden
what's going
will
to
be
happen.
ready for that. But it's tough. It's easy to say that now. And we're talking about Russell Wilson, the guy has like 10 touchdowns and 9 incompletions. Like, he's just, and that's not counting. He's just, and those balls, you're right, Dwayne, people are getting beat. But if you go back and look at those throws, outside of there's someone right there in coverage. The ball's just so perfectly thrown. It's sick. So Russell's a cheat code, man. I don't know how much it speaks of it. I don't think I can look at it as, and plus all the battles Russell Wilson's been in already with the Patriots. So it's like he's had success before, but I'm not overly worried. Like, I think we ran into something a little different on the topic. I'm not overly worried for the Patriots defense. I was more so overly worried for how we defend Cam Newton, because we were struggling to tackle and pressure. So that's where I was going with that. But I think the Saints, for sure, with Marcus Lattimore and Joyner, I mean, they have good players. Cameron Jordan and the linebacker's name is passing me. But he's
DeMarco. Davis was incredible last night.
Yeah,
he was good. He almost had a pick 6 too on Waller. So I don't know. I think we'll be able to score in New England. I just think it's the same thing.
On
the defense.
One thing about the Saint game. You spoke about Cameron Jordan. What do you have, like 70 snaps?
Yeah, and he didn't.
No pressures, no sacks.
That's
impressive.
That's impressive.
Colton Miller, I believe, as what was 2 pressures He's
allowed two
and
pressures. Yeah.
I mean, so that's great, right? Like that's great. Like we thought, Colton's really developing at a great route. He's trending upwards, right? Some of these players come in, they're a little raw. Credit again, but yeah, I mean, just dissecting what we have to look at next week is just, for me, like I said, it was just tackling.
So tackling and taking away Edelman. I mean, those are the biggest. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, how do you defend the quarterback power? I mean, the quarterback power has such a great advantage of, like, more so than even a running back, because he can sit and wait and then go right to the hole. So I mean,
people got to get off their blocks.
Exactly.
And force them to step horizontally. If Cam gets a step downfield, he's going to get 8, 10, 12. If he has to move sideways, with those long strides, like, you can freeze him up a little bit. You want to make him try to do more. If he has an easy lane, it's, I'm not gonna say it's game over, but, like, I mean, the guy's like 6'6", 250 of
he's a beast,
bricked muscle. And like I said, if we're having trouble tackling like no-name guys, we should be worried. But I think you're right, Dwayne. I think, like, you just have to clog lanes a little bit and force them to shuffle around. Once his momentum's going, we're in trouble. But Edelman's going to be tough, right? Because Edelman served Jamal Adams. Yeah. And Jamal Adams, I'm not saying he's the best cover, but he's
but that's a mismatch anyway, though, because it's not. Because
it is
safety in the corner. But listen, you don't got to. I mean, he's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, who's on Edelman then? Like, who's guarding Edelman? Is it Joyner? Are we going to insert Arnett and
Joyner's been good this year, man.
Mullen to guard him? Yes, but who's Joyner been guarding? I mean,
so far we're still.
Well, they have
star-studded white.
Well, they got 3 receivers. They got 3 good receivers in Carolina. So it was.
Sanders ain't no joke either. Sanders ain't no joke.
He would
come out of the.
He's been the surprise, like, dud of free agency. I thought him.
Yeah, he hasn't been as big.
Would have been.
I picked him up.
I thought the perfect match, especially with Michael Thomas going down. But who cares about the Saints?
Nothing. I just want to say one thing before we move on.
Go ahead.
Before we move on to the future, this is really cool news. Mike Akers just retweeted that the Raiders Monday Night Football game here, the win. We saw 15.6 million viewers, netting the highest rating for the show in the last 10 years. You tell me, everybody, all these guys who hate right against the Raiders, right? They hate right against the Raiders, right? They go on the HBO show. It's the highest rated Hard Knocks. They go on Monday Night Football in a new city, and look what happens. And look what happens. They have the highest rated Monday night game. And how many Patriot games and how many, KC games, how many games have you seen from other teams and the Raiders? Listen, Michael Rappaport said it best. Right after the game was over, he tweeted, the comedian, he said the NFL is better when the Raiders are good. And that proves it. You know what? I want to, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm a big movie fan. You need a good villain, and the Raiders are the ultimate villain.
And in Vegas too, right?
In Vegas, and you need the bad guy. We got the uniforms. Yeah. Carr is a choir boy. Maybe he's becoming that guy that we need. I don't know. I'm not going to go there yet, but the mystique of the John Gruden in itself is a bad guy, and the NFL needs that. Sports needs that. The sports world needs that. We're like the Yankees. Everybody hates the Yankees because they're good, and the Raiders being good, and hopefully we continue this momentum and we start winning some national televised games, and we draw more attention to the team that Mayock and Gruden have built and tore down. You see them out there celebrating, hugging, and bro hugging, and they built this team from the ground up, just like that stadium. Yeah. And we're watchable now. That game, I'm having friends, 49er friends text me. I have Pittsburgh Steelers friends text me. Giants, man, what's up with the Raiders? What's up with the Raiders? I've been telling you guys, man, these guys built a team. Rome was not built in a day. And I'm not saying they're going to go on and win the Super Bowl, but they're going to make a playoff run.
Hey, Sean, I know you're pressed for time here. We got 10 minutes left with you. What are your biggest concerns about the Patriot game?
I think I already talked about it. I think number one is trying to mitigate what Cam Newton can do with his legs. It's not going to be perfect. He's still going to eat. He's still going to get his. In the red zone, though, he's been number one for them for 2 weeks straight. I mean, he's eating down there. They don't have a dominant tight end for him to use as an outlet, as he's done well in the past with Greg Olsen and some of the tight ends he's been around. He doesn't have a Steve Smith like he did in Carolina. He doesn't have a Ted Ginn Jr., a big guy. N'Keal Harris and the rookies and some of these other guys out wide aren't going to do it. And so, like you said, for me, it's finding a way to mitigate Cam Newton. And Cam is a guy it's very easy to get in his head. Very easy. And all I'm thinking in my mind, if Abram comes downhill and gives him a good lick, do you know what that conversation is going to be like? Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if Abram did the whole Superman chest, if he gets to him. And then Cam immediately, you take his mind somewhere else. Cam is not the best finesse passer. He's not the best. If you can get in his head a little bit, it would rattle him. I would just love that. I'd be eating popcorn if Abram starts doing that. And I think that's what we're going to have to do at some point. Edelman is so reliable. He has such great hands. He was a little hobbled. He played hobbled. A warrior. I'll give him credit, man. I mean, you could tell he was gimping, and he was just making plays with his hands on his hips in the fourth quarter.
Tough as nails, that kid.
The guy has made plays in Super Bowls and I mean, it speaks for itself. But I was a little surprised. Like, I took Edelman in a couple of fantasy leagues. Like, I was like, I mean, he's – and to see it come to fruition with Cam is a little worrisome. But outside of that, I'm not scared of anything on that offense. It's Cam and Edelman, and that's it. I mean, so hopefully the defense, like Ken's been saying, hopefully the defense is trending upward a little bit. Maybe Kwiatkowski plays, or just maybe they find a better solution or scheme of players, the way they're going to send them. Maybe they figure they can blitz more and try to take away Edelman and be like, okay, Cam, go throw to N'Keal Harris. No, he hasn't. Throw to whoever else, And that might be a good thing, because Cam, obviously, he's comfortable with Edelman. So if you take that away, what is he going to do? As opposed to Derek, he's comfortable with all 12 people he passed to last night. So Cam is not the guy. Cam is not the guy that's going to spread the ball around and throw to backup fullbacks and unknowns. He's going to rely on what's comfortable for him. So to rattle him would be my key. I do got to dig. I know Dwayne, Ken, you guys can finish up. But much shout out to Raider Nation, all the listeners. Thank you for listening. Big win. We're 2-0. And hey, we're going to the East Coast. We're going to Bill Belichick's lair. I can't wait to see the sound bites next week.
Let's go. Hey, thanks, Sean. We'll see you.
All right, guys.
No problem.
As Dwayne always says, stand up. Raider Nation,
stand up, Raider Nation. Stand up. Stand up.
Peace.
Cool. What are your biggest worries, Ken, about this game? Because obviously it's it's the Raiders and it's Belichick and it's the whole. You're gonna see the stupid, whatever play. I'm not gonna say it again. every 5 seconds.
You were out here on the East Coast, and there's obviously a really dominant New England Patriot fan base out here. And one thing I'm not worried about is the fact that we're not playing with people in the stands, and it's not cold out just yet. So I think that kind of plays to our advantage a little bit. But Belichick is a mastermind. He's the greatest coach that we've seen in our lifetime, I think. If you can convince me otherwise, I'm all ears. But I just think that Belichick is he's doing all right. I'm not worried about Cam Newton. I'm not going to lie. I think that he's going to try to beat us with his legs, and he's going to get hit, and that's going to be it's going to shake him a little bit. He's not as young as he's used to. He needs to stay healthy. Belichick better know that. Like, all right, I don't want you running every other play. I want you to go back there and try to hit the open receiver. N'Keal Harry, he's a baller. He can play if he's allowed to, but I'm not. I think that whether it's going to be Mullen or Arnett guarding him, I think they can bottle him up. I kind of, what I saw with Kamara last night is what's going to scare me. And if they're using Sony Michel or
well, it looks like Sony Michel's hurt, and Burkhead is going to be the guy as far as that goes. Oh, is Michel hurt?
Okay,
he didn't play much. He didn't play much in the Seattle game.
Okay, so I think if they're used, then I'm not so worried about Burkhead then as much as Michel. but Kamara kind of carved us up the middle with these screen passes, and I think one of you guys nailed that where they said Breeze will go to Kamara, and I think you tweeted that. Or
Yeah, I mean,
and
when
the
they're
next play they did that.
when they're in
So
trouble, that's where he goes.
yeah, so I can imagine if Belichick is watching that game last night, he's going to see like, wow, these guys got gashed, with the running back out the backfield when they go back to McCaffrey and the Panthers too. So that's one thing I'm worried about, and that's just linebacker play. And I, if the Raiders do pull this one out, which I do think they will win, I'm pretty I'm a lot more confident in this win than last night's win. Can you imagine the storyline's going to be Raiders coming out 3-0? Ooh, mama. Mama.
All I want, I mean, like, here's my point with the defense is that right now, just bend, don't break. Like, just, I mean, I thought it was important last night to 14-0 for some reason psychologically is way better than 10-0 is better than 14-0. So they were able to hang in there. They forced the field goal. And they really didn't give up. After they scored, they didn't give up anything for like we would beg for the Raiders to give up a 0 in a quarter. And you do it against Drew Brees. Like this is a different kind of game where it's gonna be run up the middle with the quarterback and then throw deep because that's what Cam wants to do. He wants to throw the ball down the field. So if they're able to, I think you gotta hit Cam, and you gotta hit Cam hard. Like you cannot
make them feel uneasy. Make them feel uneasy.
I mean, this is a game where guys who run a lot usually get sacked a lot. So I'm thinking that this is Michael Vick guy. He always had sacks, all stuff like that. So, and he wants to come downhill immediately. He's not like he's like Kyler Murray who's running around like a dog loose in the backyard, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that guy is quick. He's quick as hell. So is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
it's not that kind of quickness. So as far as that goes, I think they can. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the Raiders can win it in the fourth quarter, but I think during the game they have to hit Cam. I mean, they have to hit Cam and force turnovers, and I think they can if that pass rush just shows up. The football nowadays is not about anything else but a pass rush, and that's it.
No, I agree. And going back to Sean's point, Waller was our player. You go back to week 1, Josh Jacobs, player of the game. Week 2, definitely Waller. And then you look at week 3. I mean, Derek Carr is going to do his job. Whether he's going to get 250, 300, whatever it's going to be that above average game. But I'm going to look towards getting Ruggs involved in this game, and I think Ruggs could be that player of the game type thing, or Renfro. I think they're going to go underneath, and it's going to turn into some scores here. So I'm not thinking Waller's going to do back-to-back games because I think Belichick's smarter than that. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. But
he's still going to eat some, though.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's going to open it up for Ruggs or Edwards. Yeah. We saw what Edwards can do, maybe even Aguilar or Zay Jones. But I think it's going to be the wide receivers that are going to eat in this game because of the fact that Waller put on a show last week, and Jacobs is always going to be a threat. But I did like one point that you made, Dwayne, on our text is we're just waiting for Jacobs to hit that home run. I'm just 50 yards plus.
It gotta come. He's so. I mean, when I watched the All-22, he's like a block away every time, and sometimes instead of trying to the last guy, he wants to run over that guy instead of like maybe a spin move or a sidestep. He might be able to get away, but it's gonna come. And he is the ultimate. He's Mariano Rivera. If we have a lead in the fourth quarter, he's gonna close you out. I mean, it's just gonna happen. I'm your game balls for the win, 34-20 or 34-24 over the Saints. Go to.
I'm gonna go with Abram.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Simpson, man. John Simpson, just coming in there and being a rookie and taking on a big task like that.
I'm going to go with Nicholas Murrow because I love the guy who actually gets the turnover. And how many times have you seen a linebacker get hit right in the mitts and doesn't catch the ball, which drives you crazy? And Jalen Richard, he giveth and he giveth and take it away. He came back and they ran the same play. And he's been those two guys they've been Raiders since Del Rio has been here, right? You know what I'm saying? So both of those guys have been Raiders for a long time, and you can tell that they really felt something special in this game.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. Let's see here. Any parting shots? Anything you want to end the show?
No. I think you ask about game balls. Obviously, Derek Carr is playing like the quarterback we want him to be. It's hard to knock him in his last couple games. I know you can nitpick and you can overanalyze how he's throwing the ball, who he's missing downfield. But then I think you got to go back to what play call is being thrown in there by Gruden, and I think that tandem with Gruden and Carr, it's working. And they're trying to get Ruggs involved. They're trying to get that long ball, and it wasn't working, so they called it back. They dialed it back a little bit. Ruggs is making plays without catching the ball. He's getting those pass interference.
Those pass interference. We never used to get those. Oh my god.
They are scared. And you know what's even better? I'm going to give another game ball out to the referees, man. We are killing it in penalties, man. No. What, we had 3 for 12 yards? That's not Raider football. What's going on here? Yeah. So that's awesome there. But as far as this goes, you know what, Raider Nation? It's been a long summer. It's been a long off season. Raider football is Las Vegas. Raider football is back. We are 2-0. We're going into New England, and I think we're going to come out with a win. So just support your team. Don't overanalyze it. Don't try to dig into the dirty. Just a win is a win. All right, take it.
Yeah, take it. No question about it. We gotta talk, because we have to figure out. I mean, either East Coast Nation podcast, Cover 3 Deep podcast. Let's just do a cross. Maybe after 4 games, let's just do one. Let's just do a whole show together. Let's see.
That sounds like a great idea. I'll bring on the boys, my drunken lunatic boys, man. They're drinking Crown and Jack and wine and all that. But yeah, that's a great idea, Sean. Dwayne, we'll bring Sean on, and he's got the blackout, and that would be a really cool thing. We'll do it, fun. Man.
It'd be fun. So listen, Cover 3 Deep, the Raiders podcast. Listen to that on anywhere you can, everywhere you can get podcasts, and on YouTube, the East Coast Nation podcast with Raider Rue and Monster Mash Ken, Potts, all the people like that. Blackout podcast, the Put on Waivers podcast with me, myself, and James Amato. And listen, brand new, I got my friend Austin Perez, who we do a fantasy football show, and it was the downloads. I would have done a fantasy football show a long time ago if I was going to get downloads like that. So thank you for the support for the first show, and we got more coming. So listen, we doing it. This is our prime time here, where we're in the football season. We're not talking about 5th round selections and stuff like that, right? You're trying to amp somebody up. And don't forget too, I do think I want to see how maybe on 3rd downs your guy Muse, if they can, I mean, if he has so much speed, if they can maybe use him as a blitzer as well to go get the quarterback. I would love to have him this week with the speed to chase down Cam.
I think. I don't know if he's due yet. I think it was after
week 3. I think after week 3. So he'll be back for the chase around maybe Josh Allen or special teams. Who knows? We'll see what happens there.
But I'll be rocking that jersey for sure, man. I'm excited for that.
No question. And your favorite, before we go, your favorite play from last night was?
I got to go with the Jalen Richard. Remember, he dropped the ball, then came back and got us a touchdown. So that's just John Gruden believing in his players. How about you?
Yeah, I think the first time they went on 4th down, I thought that was, to me, that's when I knew. I was like, this is the John that, like, yo, listen, I want new John. I don't want old John. Like, I mean, he knew he had to score points to win this game, so he knew that he had to go for it on 4th down. So I felt like as soon as it wasn't going to be a run to Jacobs, they had something planned, and a guy like Darren Waller, who doesn't get targeted as much as he should in the red zone, finally got a touchdown this year. So beautiful. Good for him, man.
Well, listen, we got the nickname for Mike Mayock, so we're gonna call John Big Balls John.
Big Balls
going
John.
forward. Big Balls John.
Big Balls John. Keep Coach Gruden. Keep your money, man. Keep that mask on, brother. Keep that mask on. I know it's hard to call those long plays that you call, but hey, they work, so they're trying to hold you down. All right, Raider Nation, listen, highest rated Monday Night Football in what, 15 years?
10 years, man. 10 years.
In 10 years. And they say the Raider Nation doesn't matter. They say the NFL goes on without the Raider Nation.
We're back, baby.
They lie. See you next time.
Peace.